All right, we good?
We are good.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Movie Marathon Podcast, a place where we watch movies and then talk about them. I am Dixon, returning as your master of ceremonies for this episode as part of our Avatar rewatch series where we binge all the Avatar movies. Today we are talking about the long-awaited sequel to the original, 2022's Avatar: The Way of Water. And I am joined today by my guest hosts Gabe and Eric. And boys, how are we doing today?
Awa is with us.
Feeling wet. I don't know.
Amazing.
Very wet. Very wet.
All right. So, first question. What was your first memory with this movie that came out four years ago now at this point, 3.5 years ago? What was your first memory with this movie? Eric, you go first.
My first memory of this movie is convincing my entire immediate family and my now wife, Bree, to see this in Herald Square. Them not being like movie people and kind of dragging them along to a 3.5, 4-hour ordeal.
Truly 4 hours with previews.
Yeah. And me looking over literally within the first 5 minutes, and my mom and dad both removed their 3D glasses. They watched the entire movie just like as is, like blurry and shit. And me just being like, this is a terrible idea. This is not the people. Bree was on her phone after like an hour, like tops,
Oh my God.
going to the bathroom. Like I just went with the wrong people. And like when it was over, I'm like, what'd you guys think? And I thought it was going to be like, I mean, after seeing Avatar in 2009, and I missed this pod with you guys, but like it was a marvel. It was like going to Universal Studios and being like on one of those rides. So I was so excited to like take my parents, take Bree, and they just couldn't give less of a shit.
Do you think 3D killed it? Because your dad sees movies. You see a lot of movies with him.
It's, you know what though, like Bree, my mom, and my dad, it's like 1.5 hours tops. They can't do anything more than that.
So,
and there's a period of adjustment too with the 3D. You know, like it takes like a solid 10 minutes.
It does. It does.
And they were just like, "There's something wrong with this. Fuck this." And I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I agree with the 3D thing because even at just time, I'll save for Fire and Ash. But like, as the first minute, I was like, "Wait, is this screwed up? Is this fucked up?"
Yeah.
It just happens. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean that was it. I just my first experience was just me dragging people to this movie that had no business seeing this movie in the movie theaters and didn't give a shit, and it kind of ruined my my experience with Way of Water. But I did love the movie. I think it is one of my favorite of the three, just because the water sequences are very cool.
So we talked about this a little bit in the first one. Do you remember the first 3D movie that you saw in theaters, or I guess only in theaters? Yeah.
I guess it probably was an Avatar, right? There was like shittier 3D movies that came up before then.
Yeah, I suggested 2 movies that were never 3D that I insisted were 3D. So
mine was Spy Kids 3D.
Oh, mine was Spy Kids 3D too.
With when he's wearing the glasses and it's like
yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Was Pokemon's first movie 3D?
I don't know.
Mew and Mewtwo?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I never saw that. I wasn't allowed.
I saw it in theaters. I don't think I saw it in 3D. I'm pretty sure I didn't see it.
Maybe not. Oh, definitely. I definitely saw Spy Kids 3. That's really funny.
So Gabe, what was your first memory of this movie?
Quite the opposite of Eric's, because I got to see it at a screening with James, not with him, but he was there. James Cameron was at the screening. So very cool, very fun. La was there with me again, our friend Mr. La, my Avatar buddy. So he and I went to the city. We were at AMC Lincoln Square, one of the best fucking theaters in the city. At IMAX 3D, of course, because it's Cameron. And had a great time. Again, like melted into the seat. Loved it. Thought it was a little long. Still think it's a little long. But had a great time. And then even I tried to like pull a move where I could like talk to Cameron. Like when I went to the bathroom right at the end of the movie, like when the credits are rolling, because I knew he would kind of like be standing there to like kind of come into the theater in a certain way. So I went by him and like he was just like standing there. Honestly, like it was like too intense. I couldn't even like say like great movie. It was like I was like afraid of him. But needed to talk back. with Sam Worthington, Stephen Lang, and maybe one or two other people from the cast. And it was good. They had it was fun. But yeah, I mean, seeing it with Cameron can't really beat that fucking experience.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
So this movie came out 13 years after the original Avatar. Obviously, it's only a
Wait.
few years
What was
ago.
your experience?
My experience? I well, so that was kind of part of the question. Like, I felt it didn't feel like it was such a long time after the first movie for me, and especially the opening scene. I was initially just brought I was right back in to Pandora and to like the whole environment of the movie. So I loved it. I remember after seeing the first Avatar, I was like, this is the only movie that I will absolutely hands down go see in 3D no matter what. Like, however many more of these come out after this, like, this is like the one and only movie that I will absolutely go see in 3D. But I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought the story was great. I thought you could tell that there was a jump, not a significant jump, but definitely like a progression in the technology of the movie and like how it was made. And it did bring up the same type of, oh my God, I'm seeing something incredible in a movie theater experience again. And yeah, I loved it. I don't know how I would. I mean, I'll save it for once we do Fire and Ash, like where I think it ranks among these three movies so far. But I loved it. I thought it was great. But yeah, so for you guys, like, were you immediately brought back into the world from the beginning of the movie, or did it take you some time to kind of get into the flow of like being back on Pandora and being in that world? Like, was it something that just instantly hit you, or were you kind of like, revving up to getting to that point?
It's not a very complicated story. Like, I mean,
No, not so much the story, just the environment of it.
No, I mean, like, it was like an unforgettable experience seeing Avatar, so I was pumped to see Way of Water. And again, like, we all remember how it ends. It's, he becomes one of the Na'vi and he stays with them. They have a family, obviously. So yeah, no, I was able to jump right back in. And I feel like this movie and also Fire and Ash kind of did that anyway. It was like, okay, no bullshit. Let's just go right into this,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would say other than like adjusting to the 3D, like we said before, I thought it was easy enough. It didn't take a lot to get into it.
Cool. All right. So now we'll get into our first section, the production history of Avatar, The Way of Water. Transition. We'll do all the
bubbles.
Yeah, definitely the bubbles.
I have
some
what
water
did I
sound.
put in the script? It's what's the section for this one?
Transitions. You're not in Kansas anymore.
Oh yeah.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
You are not in Kansas anymore.
All right, so in this section, we'll talk about how this sequel and potentially some of the other sequels came to be and how Cameron conceived of the continuation of Jake's story. So after the success of Avatar, Fox wanted to create sequels as soon as possible. So they went to Cameron. They're like, let's get these out. And Cameron wasn't sure if he wanted to commit to the workload of having to, create something that compared to the original Avatar movie. So he took a step back, and for 3 years, he actually explored oceans, and he went all the way to the Mariana Trench, which, I mean, is just so Cameron of him to be like, all right, I'm going to do something as extensive of research for something in the water as go to the Mariana Trench.
Have you seen the South Park episode where he's trying to find how the premise of the episode is we of society have lowered the bar so far, and so James Cameron's like, I'm gonna go down and try to find where that bar is.
It's so good.
That's amazing.
I've never seen that. That's so
the
good.
episode is hilarious. It's so fucking good.
Oh, that's great.
He's like in this little personal submarine, and like the camera is like the fish lens camera where his like eyes are all like weird and everything. It's fucking so good. Sorry.
That's amazing. No, I've never seen that, but that's great. So Cameron, it was a very extensive pre-production process that began in 2010. The first script that he put together was actually titled Avatar: The High Ground, but he scrapped it because it lacked any impact or didn't have that unexpected, didn't have that like spiritual component he was looking for. But eventually, the High Ground script that he had actually became a comic book. But yeah, so in 2013, he decided he was going to go in and like officially make the sequels. So he said in 2006 when he was working on Avatar that if this thing works, I'm going to go in and definitely make the sequels. And obviously, Avatar became one of the biggest movies of all time, highest grossing. And he had a initial plan when he was working in the sequels. Avatar 2 was originally going to come out in 2014, and then Avatar 3 was going to come out in 2015. Obviously,
Insane.
that did not happen. And he wanted to go in and expand the universe. He wanted to explore other different biomes on Pandora. And then there was the potential of visiting other moons because Pandora is a moon on this planet. So he wanted to maybe see about going to some of the other moons. And he actually wanted to, when he decided he was going to focus on a water biome of the planet, he was actually considering going to the Mariana Trench and trying to get some reference footage to use in the movie, which is insane.
course.
Again. So, obviously this is Cameron. Do you think that, the idea of, making this movie or going into it with a much bigger arc or a much bigger like kind of plan overall now, or actually before the movie came out, we all kind of knew that that's what the plan was for him to, work on these sequels together or work on them, congruently. Does that sound like something that was just visionary and sounded like something like a really good idea, or did it sound like Cameron was just completely unhinged and had no idea, or was getting in way over his head?
He always knows what he's doing. He's Cameron.
Yeah,
He's not
I always
Edwards.
have faith. I always have faith in him.
I mean,
Agreed.
part of this took forever to come out, but part of that was COVID, and I know we'll get into that, but it's complicated, and ultimately, you didn't say this at the start, but this is the production history of both Way of Water and Fire and Ash. So he's making 2 movies, so double up the time, add COVID, plus add the Avatar effect of all that. If they would have came out without COVID, I feel like they would not have felt so delayed, so far away. But that also probably made it a positive because people were more hungry for the material.
Anything, Eric?
No.
Okay.
Pass.
So when Cameron was beginning to design, the ocean ecosystem of Pandora, and really work on the script for this movie and the following sequels after this, one of the distinctions he wanted to make early on was that the environmental themes were continuing. So we're still looking at how the environment impacts the people, and he wanted to make sure that the priority for these movies was that entertainment, immersion, and spectacle were first priority in making these movies and continuing the stories of Pandora and of Jake too. Him and Kiri obviously he wanted them to remain the emotional center of the movie. The humans are obviously going to be the antagonists, and there's still a significant amount of conflict involved in these movies, and it's not over. The story of that conflict between the humans and the Na'vi is far from over from these sequels. Cut that part. I don't like that. I don't like that question either. All right. So Cameron gets into the development. He gets into the production of this movie, and then delays start happening. So he, like we said before, he wanted these movies to come out in 2014 and 2015, but then it became 16, 17. Everything kept getting pushed back. He admitted later that the problem wasn't the logistics of the movie, was the writing. He doesn't want to write one sequel. He wanted to have this overarching storyline with different character arcs that overlapped, and pay off some of the things that he's going to bring in Way of the Water later on down the road in Fire and Ash, and then potential sequels later on. In 2016, he revealed at a Comic-Con that it wasn't just going to be 2 sequels. It was actually going to be 4, and that they were all going to be filmed simultaneously, which is a pretty adventurous and big undertaking. When we heard about
are they
that,
all filmed for the most part right now? They're all done?
No, a quarter
acting.
of 4 is filmed.
yeah,
Got it.
I think
Okay.
that was the original plan, was for them to do all 4 movies in one. But then obviously a lot of things get changed, and we don't know what's going to happen with the last 2 as of us recording this.
Do you know if
But
they filmed 4 along with Way of Water and Ash?
Yes, and the reason it's not that. I mean, anyone could look it up who's listening, but they did that because there's supposed to be a time jump in 4. So he banged out all of the scenes with the kids, quote
Got it.
unquote, and now they'll grow up and they'll be older.
Okay.
Yeah, so he probably shot a lot of scenes. Like, I don't know if they want to do like flashbacks or have other moments where they want them as kids. So they probably filmed those scenes while
It's
they were
allegedly
doing
a
these
time
kills.
jump. It opens, and then I think something happens, and then it time jumps.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's probably what he filmed.
Wow, it just like dawned on me. We have 2 more left.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. We'll see what the box
gonna get 'em.
office
We're gonna
looks
get
like
'em.
at the end of this.
We're gonna get 'em.
Yeah, for sure.
But he said recently that he's like, we got to find a way to make these more cheaper.
Yeah, he's
And
just
he
being a
keeps-
pain in the ass
He
about
keeps
it.
saying it, and I think he's like warming us up to like the idea of AI, just a little AI, not
think-
so much AI.
I'll say what I think is going to happen with 4 with him, and I'll save it for later for the next one after Ash.
All right, so filming this movie, one of the biggest challenges with The Way of the Water was obviously water. So they wanted to not use as much, CGI water, and they also were using performance capture technology. So they had to figure out a way to incorporate the performance capture technology in the water. So the way that they had filmed it in Avatar wouldn't have worked because with water, reflections get messed up with the tracking. Infrared light, which is what they used in the camera to film the motion cap or the performance capture, doesn't not work underwater. Bubbles interfere with everything because the suits had these little basically bubbles attached to them, and then the face tracking kind of looks like bubbles underwater, so it interferes with everything. And the cameras that they were using distort the image. So Cameron was basically like, all right, that's fine. Let's just create new technology to film performance capture underwater.
Simple solution.
Simple solution.
Yeah.
So reflections on the water. What was the solution to that? What they did was they had a layer of plastic balls that basically they laid over the top of the surface, and it stopped the reflection, and then it allowed the actors to kind of move in between
smart.
and keep the filming and be able to capture all the performances, plus the way that the water interacted with their
The way of the
performances.
water.
Exactly. Second problem was the infrared tracking. So what did they do? They switched to ultraviolet light, which is the best way to capture all of the performances within the water itself. So, you have these actors that are basically either wearing the motion capture suits, they have to hold their breath, which all of the actors underwent vigorous water training and training with professionals on like how to hold their breath, how to act, how to move underwater, how to make sure that they can hold themselves under long enough to get some of the shots. And
Doesn't
they're all
Kate Winslet have like the Guinness record?
Yeah.
For, like in human history.
Yeah.
it's up there. I want to say it's like 11 minutes or something like that. She was able to hold
I think
her
she
water
has the
under breath.
record at least in film, if not.
So like I'm rewatching this movie over the weekend, and I'm like, there's no scene where she's even underwater.
Yes, like when does that happen? When is
Yeah,
it
it doesn't even
necessary?
No, there's a scene. She's
She's underwater a couple times, but like when is it necessary? It's never necessary.
Like there's never like an 11-minute straight shot
Yes,
with
right,
no cuts when
right,
she's
right.
underwater. Like this
thought
was
the
a
same
complete.
thing.
Yeah, there's no need for her to hold her breath for
I thought
11
the
minutes.
Same thing.
This
It was
poor woman.
It was probably also like to allow them to be able to shoot or get multiple takes without them having to come up and down. Because if they're going to be in
That's
the
true.
water
Okay, that's
for
true.
a good amount of time, you want to be like, all right. And
don't
I
wanna
think there was a
reset.
cameras or a microphone system underwater where they were able to hear Cameron's directions while they were under. So it was probably like learn how to hold your breath for a few minutes so we can shoot a bunch of different takes. You're not coming up and down and like going back and forth. So I'm sure that played into a part of it. There's definitely some scenes that are like longer
I
takes.
cannot picture her character underwater once.
I can't wait
It's
to talk
when-
about her character, but
It's when the Tulkun come in and it's like they come like the whole
Dixon,
herd
there
of
could be
Tulkun
any
comes in.
scene in the film. I'm sorry.
No, it's when she saw the dead one, right?
No, it's before that. The one that eventually does
Icon.
die comes in, and she's talking about that Tulkun has a boy, and then she's talking about her baby, and it's like they're talking about like how they were sharing. It's a time of sharing stories and talking about loved ones, people they lost, like all that stuff. So that's
And
the
she went
scene.
underwater.
And she went underwater for that scene. Yeah.
For
That might
11
be
minutes.
one of the only. Now that I'm thinking about it, might be the only scene where she's fully underwater.
Unless
Cameron's
that
like,
scene
let's
is in
just
Ash.
stay down there. We're gonna do a couple more.
Was that in Ash?
Probably.
Is she in the water for a long time in Ash?
No,
I
she's
can only
barely
think
in
of the
Ash.
one
I don't think
scene
so.
at the end of Ash, but I'll save it again. I'll save it.
Yeah, I don't think she's. Yeah, that's the only scene in Way that I could think of that she's underwater for a period of time.
But before we move on from this, do you know who she beat the record?
No.
Is it
Still-
another? Oh, it's David Blaine.
No. That would be awesome too. It's another actor. It kills him every day. Tom
Hugh
Cruise.
Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible.
The one where he's underwater, like swimming in the thing. Not the most recent one where he's trying to swim. It's maybe 5. He's underwater and like they like push the water on, like the fan on. He gets stuck, of course. Could
So he's
also
got
be
the
any
longest
Mission Impossible
underwater
movie.
breath hold.
Yeah, at the
Amazing.
time.
I love that Kate Winslet beat him.
Yeah, it's
Like
it's
not
pretty sick.
not even like an intense physical actress or
Yeah.
actor. Like just
And for
you
a
know.
scene that's probably not in the film, that's even the best part.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So, so the underwater filming usually has these, like, the cameras usually have these bulky housings that distort the image. So that's why they wouldn't work with the performance capture and the 3D photography that they're using. So they developed a new system called DeepX 3D, and it's a 2-camera 3D rig. It has submersible lenses, and it's designed specifically to eliminate the distortion underwater that they were seeing in the other cameras. So it actually took about 3 years to create this technology, and it wasn't fully functional until 2017, which is when the scripts were finally locked in and ready to go. So it took a little bit for them to be able to actually start filming.
Oh,
And
before we go to filming, in terms of like that part, I just would with the scripts being locked. They had a writer's room, right? They had like I think he had Rick Jaff and Amanda Silver write them or something like that, and they had like them formulate them all together. I think it's cool that he like had them all kind of like essentially not do like in comparison what Star Wars was doing at the time, where it's like go off and do this and like figure it out. Like he had a whole plan, like and he still does allegedly. Like that's pretty friggin' amazing. Like in general, like even working with other writers, where I think he wrote one alone more or less. You know, to have like other people kind of do off and be able to delegate and like it doesn't feel like a different movie. It feels similar. It feels like the same movie. So it's cool.
absolutely. And then again, with the water, the other issue, not so much with capturing the actors' performances, there's also the issue of the water itself. So like they're making the actors look real and make their performances looking real in the water. You also want the water to look as real as possible. And water, does everything. There's waves, there's foam, there's bubbles, there's splashes, there's these little like surfaces, there's dripping off of the characters' faces. So the visual effects team had to develop these different solvers for all of these different types of water and ocean and, liquid characteristics that would be incorporated into the shot. So they created a system called Loki, which decided how the water should behave in each shot. In each shot, the technology was actually so advanced that they were able to publish in scientific papers in SIGGRAPH, which is one of the biggest graphics conferences in the world. And so they solved all the issues from like how the air bubbles were going to cling to the costume. So they had all this technology that was built into their suits, and they were like, well, the air bubbles are, getting caught in the different components in the system. So they were like, well, how do we take that out in the post-production and like the creation of the characters themselves to make it look realistic? How the actors would rise and break the surface of the water, and how that looked against the CGI versions of the avatars and the Na'vi people, and like everything that they did to all the hard work that they put into those issues that they were having with trying to figure out water. I think at the end of the day is totally worth it, because you don't look at it saying like, oh, that's clearly CGI or that's clearly done in post. Like it looks real. It looks like the same way that the performance capture, really captured what the actors were doing. That's how the water affects look on them. At least that's how I think. Do you guys agree? Do you think that like the water doesn't take you out of it still feeling like, oh, this world is like completely created from, a computer system? Like I thought it felt very real and felt like it was exactly how the water was interacting with the actors' performances.
Yeah, it was perfect. And I was reading somewhere that they originally tested using like harnesses and like pulley systems where there was no water whatsoever, and they were just like, nope, doesn't look good enough. So, they figured it out. But like this movie is so much bigger. It's not just James Cameron directing this movie. Like he's like simultaneously making advancements in marine biology. Like it's
crazy.
unbelievable what this guy does.
And I would just also compare it to Aquaman. You know, a whole movie that's underwater. It doesn't look bad in Aquaman, like under necessary like circumstances, but like it's incomparable to Way of Water. It really is. Or you know, Fire and Ash, the underwater scenes too. Like anything in there, it's yeah, it doesn't even compare. Like you take
I
Aquaman 2 and Way of Water, which probably came out maybe the same year. And yeah, it's incomparable. And Avatar 2 was filmed earlier, you know, created earlier.
dude, I think Aquaman came out like 4 years before Way of Water.
Yeah, number 1, yeah, came out 2018, I want to say, and then number 2, I don't know.
When
maybe
did Little Mermaid come out?
like like the remake?
Yeah. 23.
I want to say like 2020. I think it was like a Disney
No.
Plus. Let's
The
check.
Little
No,
Mermaid?
I think it came out in theaters.
I would say 23. Anyway, I watched the first like 20 minutes of that movie, and the CGI underwater was like migraine inducing.
It's so funny because you feel like they can't even like pull. They're all part of Disney. Like Cameron can't share the tech a little bit. I mean, it's all done by Weta, but still, it was 2023, The Little Mermaid, so really recently.
Yeah.
Speaking of Weta FX, they actually, because there was so much time between Avatar and Way of Water, they were able to kind of overhaul the character animation for the actors, like not even within their water scenes, but outside of their water scenes. So they switched to a muscle strain system, which basically means their faces, the acting of their like facial structure it was based on the simulated muscle tension and not like preset expressions, which is what they used in the first one. And they also used a neural network to handle in between facial movements, so it was very, very in depth. And the other issue that they were having, or that they were developing, or moving the technology down the line, was the live actors interacting with the CGI characters. So a lot of the movie, the character Spider is the only live action character. He has to interact with these, CG Avatar and Navi characters. So they created an eyeline system, which is a 4-point cable cam, which if you've ever watched any Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football game, that camera that's just floating around the stadium getting those aerial shots.
That's
They
cool.
use the same technology, and they synced the CGI character skeleton to where that camera was placed, and it moved in real time. So the actors didn't have to guess where the Navi would be. They were looking up at this camera, and so they could use the camera shots as like a point of reference for what the CGI characters would be seeing in that scene. So the actors are actually having something physical to kind of be interacting with in those shots.
But the actors would be in like mocap interacting with each other if there was no real.
Yes.
Like if there was no
Mhm.
spider in there, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just assumed they were all in one shot together. Interesting.
Yeah. So they had that camera for the live action shots. The other actors were doing their motion capture together. And then there was a stunt team that were in blue suits that would help block the scenes for the real actors in the scenes where they were working with the CGI avatars and Navi people.
Got it. Cool.
Sorry, this is like a long question. I just wanted to read where it was. Oh, okay. So did you guys ever pick out in scenes where there was kind of maybe not a disconnect, but it felt like you could tell that there was a break between the live action actor and then the motion capture performance of another actor? Was there ever a point where you're like, oh, that seems a little off, or like it's kind of breaking the wall for you a little bit? Do you ever feel that way in this movie, or was it just Cameron did it so perfectly that it didn't matter?
It's seamless.
I mean, to your point, Spider's really one of the only characters that's interacting with the motion capture actors, right?
Yeah, there's a few scenes with Norman
Who's that
Max.
like Australian like mercenary that they bring in? It's like beautiful.
Oh yeah, the guy
great
that hunts the Tulkun. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has some scenes where he interacts with like Korich on the boat, and they do stuff like So
Oh.
there, but again, it never really felt like so. One of the things I was thinking about when I was working, when this question came up, was like after at least for me, after I watched The Lord of the Rings, and you kind of get those behind the scenes, you see those videos or like hear about behind the scenes. Some of the ways they shot like the hobbits with the
Forced
other character,
perspective.
the forced perspective. It's like
Yeah.
even those shots never really took it out. Like, even after I knew that's how they did it, it was still like, oh, okay, you could kind of see it a little bit. You're like, all right, they're not looking exactly at their eyes, but it's pretty close. But there's never a point in this movie where I saw it and I was like, okay, there's clearly a break between where they were supposed to be looking and interacting with the CG characters. Like, I thought it was very well done.
I mean, really, there shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like, all the scenes are fake, are created. So like there shouldn't be any mistakes, you know, like everything should be perfect. It should be knit tight.
What about Edie Falco interacting with her coffee cup when she used
I hate
the exoskeleton thing to
I hate
hold
that
a
scene.
normal size.
She's got her
coffee
hand like
cup.
out here and the coffee cup's like on her lip and she's like
It took me, honestly, it took me so out of the movie. I'm like, this is so stupid.
Are we ready for casting? Can we talk about casting? Can we just talk about Edie Falco?
Yeah, we'll go through it. She's down a little bit, but we'll get to her.
I just think the coffee cup scene is so bad.
It
bothers the shit out of me. And I always forget she's in this movie until she appears in the movie. And I'm like, what the fuck is she doing in this movie?
I think she forgets as well. Didn't she not remember she was actually in this movie?
Yep. Yeah, there was an interview where they were like, oh, how do you feel about Avatar? And she was like, oh, I didn't think, because it had been so long between when she filmed and when the movie was actually coming out, she thought that either it didn't come out or it flopped or it was just, she had heard
she
nothing
just got
about
a paycheck and just like didn't give a shit?
Like she's that checked out? Like, how could you be that checked out?
What else? What is she doing? Nurse Jackie's done.
What is she doing? I mean, she's not specifically like bad in it, but she like pulls me out of the movie. Like, and it's not even that she like looks like Carmella or anything. Like, I don't like, she's not necessarily typecast for me. I never watched like Nurse Jackie or anything else, but like, she doesn't look like Carmella, but she looks. I just see. I'm like, this is what is.
Dude, honestly, it's the coffee cup. It's just the coffee cup.
So, and I know what Cameron's doing. Like, it's so on the nose, but like for her, it's like so like blasé. Like it's like another day at the office. Like I get it, but it's so.
I was just trying to think of like, why can't she deactivate the arm and then just like drink normal coffee?
It's borderline Lucas. It's borderline George Lucas.
It's stupid. Like she's faking holding a cup of coffee, while the exoskeleton machine arm is holding what at first I was like, is that a big cup of coffee?
It should be. It should be big. Honestly, it should
be a big cup of,
like a large, like an XL.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a normal cup of coffee. So you have this mechanical arm holding a normal cup of coffee, putting it up to her actual mouth.
It's so unbelievably
like
bad.
this. It's terrible. It's so stupid. And you know Cameron loves it. He's like, watch what I'm gonna do here. And he's probably the only one giggling in the movie theater.
Like, he was laughing in the theater when we were in it. I saw him giggling in his seat.
Like nudging, like
popcorn,
see what I did there?
Kind of like
yeah. And people are like, no, I get it. And he's like, no, look, she's not holding the coffee. I'm like, no, we get it, James. We get it.
So yeah, I they call him Jim.
Yeah, whatever.
Jim.
I was thinking about that. I was like, is there a certain point where you're allowed to call him Jim in interviews? Like, do you have to have worked with him for a certain amount of time? I just know
from Entourage, like once Vince gets in, they're like, you call him Jim. Vince, you call him Jim.
Yeah, like, what does it take to get to that point? Where does somebody have to come up to you and be like, okay, this is your Jim card. You can now call him Jim.
I didn't even realize I made Aquaman references. Jim Cameron, Entourage, lots of synergy here. But yeah, Edie Falco, not great in this. Not my favorite addition.
All right, so we'll get into the cast. So the first person we'll talk about actually is Colonel Miles Quaritch. It's technically the return of Quaritch, but he's actually functionally a new character. So he's brought back as a recumbent, which is an avatar body implanted with memories, personality, and training of the dead human self. So he knows he's a copy. He watches a video of himself explaining the mission, explaining what was going on, and he, takes steps going back to Pandora, knowing that he's already been there. So he can breathe on the planet, doesn't have to wear a mask anymore. He learns the language, which is something that I never understood. Did he know the language immediately, or was he like taught the language and never spoke it in the first movie? Like, there's just that scene where I think I don't know if it's Spider or if it's one of the kids is talking to him and he immediately just starts talking in the native language. Like, they never really explained that.
I think some of it's implied from Spider teaches him, right? Is that later in the movie or is that earlier that he knows
Spider does teach him some of the language or some of the nuances of the language, but he knows it early on, like when they first land and they're at the they're at the unit where him and Jake fought in the first movie.
That's right. Okay, yes,
They
you're
capture
right.
the kids and he's talking to them and he immediately starts speaking in the language. So I don't know if that's something that was just because he's an avatar, he understands the language and is able to speak it, or if he was taught it when he was coming over, if that was some new technology over the course of
Yeah,
time
they
that
probably
was
downloaded it.
embedded into the avatar. So he was just automatically like, maybe there was just like a, like a context of words that he's able to understand. And then like the nuance is what Spider is teaching him.
It's like the
Well, I don't
Winter
think-
Soldier. Like
I don't think it was downloaded because there's a scene where he's not pronouncing words correctly, and Spider's like, "You sound like a child" or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe it was like there was like a base of words and like that they were able to instill in the avatar. So he was ready to speak basics. And that's why he's learning it with Spider.
I think it's interesting because in the first movie, he's almost like a war hawk, like just like a nationalistic, like lunatic who just is just doing whatever duty calls upon, and he's very, I don't know, he has a what's the word I'm thinking of? Like fuck, I'm drawing the blank on the word. He hates the Navi people. He has like some sort of like prejudice against them. But in this movie, it almost seems like he's willing to learn a little bit about the culture just so he can get ahead. Learning the language being one of those things, but that's pretty interesting.
I mean, I was gonna say I love his arc, and overall
he steals the show for sure.
He becomes my favorite character, probably of the series eventually, when we're through with all this. But his arc in this one is so good. It's better than Jake's in both movies, as Fire and Ash as like a whole. And
his arc being him being a father.
Jake's arc. Well, I would just say in general, Quaritch probably like. You notice through the movie, like he's very like hesitant to obviously become part of the Navi, whether he knew the language or not, whatever he learns it. But like slowly throughout the movie, even in the last fight with Jake, he like goes like and like will like snarl and stuff and like picks up all these Navi traits that he's like fighting against the movie. And he is such like a clear like mirror to Jake of like he's like the same experience but fighting it. Yeah, he just like makes the movie so much better. And I hated when I first saw the movie. I like hated that twist when he like it. I guess I didn't really watch the Whitewater trailer. It's kind of one of those movies where it's like I don't need to see the trailer. Like, I'll just go see the movie. Because I really didn't. I think I saw Fire and Ash's trailer like once, whereas like I'll watch like Marvel trailers.
The
like
trailers
all the
aren't
time.
great.
They don't show you anything. So like
no, they don't.
I kind of like skipped them. I was like, oh cool, it's coming. Like I'm excited for it, but I'm not gonna. I don't need to see the trailer for this really. So what I think I didn't really know Quaritch was going to be like an avatar, like how he was going to come back. I knew he was coming back, but I didn't know in that form. So when it first came in the movie, I was like, oh, I hate this. I was like, this is so stupid. But by the end of it, I really warmed to it and I liked it. And I also thought it was a little cheesy that like Spider's his dad. It's like a little Star Warsy, like closed world, closed circuit. Like, they retconned him having like a dead mom that died in battle, whatever the hell it is. But I warmed up to that too. I'm like kind of used to it now.
What's funny? The movie is like there really is 3 acts. It's like before the water shit, and then the final battle. There's not a lot of plot. Like Quaritch is just the whole Quaritch scene is, or his like impact in the movie is literally just let's figure out where they went. Okay, we found out where they went. They're by the water. Let's invade. That's it. And
I mean, that's really where you see that this is a half a movie. Like, I feel like they close it well, even though it's kind of like open-ended, they close it well. But like everything you're referring to kind of like gets completed in part 2, part 3, whatever.
It really is a part 2 to this.
Part 2 of like the sequel to Avatar. Like,
yes. Yeah. Because I when I watched Fire and Ash, I couldn't even remember what happened to Quaritch. I just, whether he died or didn't die, I knew he was coming back because he's just one of those characters. And so whatever, we could save this for Fire and Ash.
Spoiler alert.
All right, never. We'll talk about it later.
That should just be an overarching, like if you're watching this and you haven't seen the movie, go watch the movie.
Yeah, please.
All right, so now let's talk about some of the newer characters. We'll start with the kids, the Sully kids. So we have Neteyam, who's played by Jamie Flatters. He's the oldest son. He's very responsible. He's dutiful, also very brave. and he carries this kind of weight of precisely doing everything that's right. Like that's like how he goes about his time, or goes about like every decision that he makes.
And he's also barely in the movie. And
Yeah.
the second watch around, I was like, how did we not know he was going to get killed off?
He's
He
like
is barely every time
the weakest of them.
Yeah, and I got him confused with his brother so many times. I thought they both had equal amount of screen time, and they don't.
I
don't know the
completely
brother's
agree.
name.
I could not Loak. I could not.
Loak.
The first time I saw it, I could not tell the difference between the two of them. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So a little bit of an Easter egg. Joel David Moore, who plays Norm,
I am a robot. Sorry, I have to.
Every
Who's
time.
Norm?
Norm is the guy from
The
he's
guy
in
from Grandma's
Dodgeball.
Boy.
He's in Grandma's Boy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So yeah, he plays Norm, and his son is the actual infant of the scenes for Neteyam when he's first born at the beginning of the movie, and then at the end where they do that flashback.
That's cool.
actually his son.
He's in Dodgeball too, right?
Yeah.
Like, who's Steve the pirate?
Yeah.
All right, so then Loak, not Neteyam, the other brother, he's the middle child, and he's kind of like the emotional core. Like he's very reckless. He's searching for kind of his belonging within the family, and his bond with the Tulkun Payakan is kind of what drives a lot of the plot forward in the movie, and a lot of his decisions obviously are pretty significant throughout the movie.
Wait. This is Sigourney Weaver's character?
No,
this is the brother.
other
This is the
brother.
This is the
Loak.
This is the brother.
Oh, I thought you said Neteyam.
Not
Neteyam's the
Neteyam.
oldest. Not
Neteyam's the older
Okay,
brother.
Okay. See,
And then
I can't-
Loak is the middle brother.
Okay.
Middle child, but
The
youngest
one who
of the two
doesn't
brothers.
die.
Yeah, Loak. Okay.
So then we have Kiri, who's actually played by Sigourney Weaver. And she's the adopted daughter of Grace Augustine's Avatar, who we find out about a little bit more in Fire and Ash, a little bit more of the detail behind that. But she's got this very unexplained connection to Awa. And she, they kind of explain, or not explain, but they tease a little bit of her abilities. And she's very, she has like, sort of like, I don't know how to explain it, but like her abilities are just sort of, they kind of happen. So when they first go to the reef people, she's able to breathe underwater without any training. A lot of the animals in the environment kind of just come to her or interact with her without really any sort of explanation. So she kind of has this different spiritual connection that we don't really, it's never really explained, at least in this movie, but we do see those interactions as they're, as they're kind of happening.
So Sigourney Weaver's Avatar had a baby. Is that what it is?
Yep.
It's so confusing. Obviously, they clear it up later.
How many children out of wedlock while in Avatar is going on here? Hey, let's remind you, stop having sex while in Avatar.
PSA.
In Avatar, yeah.
It's so confusing to me watching this movie. Like it's like, oh, his voiceover is like so like Sam Worthington, just like, oh, and Grace's baby, Grace's Avatar had a baby, and now it's my daughter, and then we had another little one. And I'm like, pause. Yeah, it's like,
what do you mean?
Whoa. It's like, whoa, and then they just like continue the movie.
Yeah,
it's very confusing.
So I'm right though. So she, as an Avatar, had sex with one of the Na'vis, had the baby.
No. It's like an immaculate conception.
Who immaculately conceived?
Awa.
Where was the baby? In like a tube?
No, it's
No. I where did the baby come from?
It's like the little jellyfish came out of the ground and it just
came out of the earth.
Wherever those things come from.
No, like it came out of the Avatar. There's the scene where the Avatar's in the tank, right? And she goes in the room and like go visits her. So at some point the Avatar was pregnant. I think in the opening they showed
I remember that. Okay, so
very fleetingly, very quickly.
Yes,
but so
there was a pregnant Avatar, and that is
in the scene in one where they put the two bodies together facing each other when she dies. They're like, bring her back, and like, oh, and they try to bring her back. They're like, she failed her, they can't do it. But at some point, they brought the body, I guess, back to the mountains, the Avatar body, and they put it in a tank anyway. And then at some point, while they had it in the tank, they noticed that it was pregnant.
Yeah, this is okay.
that's that.
I have to just accept this then. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
There you go.
So the last of the Sully kids is Took, who's played by Trinity Bliss. She's the youngest. She's emotionally intuitive and very adaptable, and she's she is the heart of a lot of the family scenes. Like she's just kind of like the little kid that's in the journey with everybody else, but she's always, cracking jokes, and it definitely adds a little bit of like levity to some of the serious scenes. And it's interesting because like all these kids, they kind of they shift the franchise into more like generational storytelling, and they definitely add a little bit more weight to Jake's decisions and his actions. Like he is more, family oriented. Like before, he was very much what's the best thing for the people. Now it's what's the best for my family, and how do I protect them, and how do I keep them as safe as possible. Um, Outside of the family, new character that we have is Miles Spider Sicario, who's played by Jack Champion. So he's a human-born child on Pandora, and he's raised by the Sullys, but he can't really fully be in either world. He can't breathe Pandora's air. He can't ride the Ikran. He can't really fully participate in Na'vi life, but he's part of their family. Like they treat him like he's one of their own. And when he's captured, eventually he gets captured by Quaritch. He kind of becomes this like emotional hinge to the movie. So Quaritch really can't, Quaritch doesn't want to torture him like Edie Falco's character does. He tries to like understand him and like figure out how he can, get to know this kid, but also use him to help him find Jake at the same time.
Yeah, the spider torture scene is like so weird to me. He's like, I don't know where he is, you buttholes. Like it's like so like stupid. But like I Spider's character, I was kind of iffy on also, but now I also like, I don't know. I like this movie when I saw it. It sounds like I don't when I say a lot of this stuff, but I did like this movie and I still do. But I wasn't into the Quaritch twist, and the Spider kind of came part of that with that. But now I like it a lot, and I think his character is like a good. You need a human in there somewhere. I feel like otherwise, like the audience almost has no one to identify with.
He's also a super important character.
Yeah.
Something about the only thing that kind of bothered me between the boys, like the two Sully kids, the Reef people boys that they like interact with and go out and kind of learn about the way, and Spider, they use the word bro a little too much.
Hey, bro.
All that I remember in the movie being like, they're saying bro a lot.
But
Like,
it's not bro. But it's not bro. It's it's in the Na'vi language. When they do the switch over in the beginning of the movie, Jake says he goes, the language and the subtitles go away. He's like the language just seems like English to me. So it's some sort of it's like it's a translation. It's like cuz or bro or man in another
interesting.
language.
I never thought about
It's
it
not
that
bro.
way.
It's just it's the translation of bro.
It just sounds like Aborigines to me, like from Australia.
But that's essentially what it's supposed to be. Is like
Yeah.
it's just it's he that when that I love that language switch over. I was telling you guys about it too.
That was
but
cool.
Like, I think that's how he gets away with that. When you think about it that way, that's like how you could accept it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me. I just thought it was something the camera was like, I think the kids are saying bro, so we should throw that in. And then they're just like plugging it in at like random points in the movie.
A little too surfer.
Yeah. All right. So next we have Kate Winslet's character, Ronel. She's the fierce, uncompromising spiritual leader of the Metakain clan. She's very skeptical of the Sullys when they first come to their area. She's openly hostile. She's the gatekeeper really for their tradition and how the Reef people live. And this actually marks Kate Winslet's first collaboration with James Cameron in 20 years since the Titanic movie. And he intentionally cast her as a character who doesn't immediately welcome insiders. But it was just very interesting. I did not know outsiders. Yeah. I did not realize that this was Kate Winslet when I first saw the movie. Like I didn't know it was her.
Because you wouldn't know because she doesn't do anything in the movie.
Well, so that was my next question. Do you think she's very underused? Do you think he was saving her for the next movie a little bit more, or do you think that he could have utilized her character a little bit more?
So like he can kill her off in the next movie, like pretty early on.
Spoilers.
I think that
it was
she's
underutilized.
totally underused.
In
in
both
every-
or
in-
just in this one?
In
Both.
general, in general, she doesn't have enough to do. She's not the focus of the story. She's a supporting character.
It's
It
also a
doesn't
very
do for season
cliche
Navi.
character, like the queen who's skeptical of the outsiders,
Yeah.
and the husband's like, "Come on, bro, what do you want me to do here?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
my
I'll let
wife
him
won't
in,
let me, like you can't sleep over, man."
Yeah, it's I don't think it's a very strong character. I wouldn't even remember her name if we didn't talk about it. I just think it's Kate Winslet, like the Marine Queen, whatever you want to call her. But it's no, there's not much character there. All she does is serve as like a foil to Neteyam. Um, but it's there's not much there.
All
I
right.
don't think the Reef people have much to add other than just the bullies who eventually they all get along at some point, like the kids, and then that's that. Their storyline's done. That's it.
I like seeing them like visually. It's cool to see them with like the bigger arms and stuff like that. I like that, but I
You like
kind of
the hair,
agree. I
you
mean,
like the haircut too, right? The Gen Z.
the haircuts are so ridiculous.
Well,
That's
that
worse
goes
than
into the
Bro.
bro thing too. Yeah, like
Yeah.
The
Cameron was like,
broccoli cut.
make them young, so that way we'll get the Gen Zs to actually enjoy it, or like feel like, oh, that could be me. I could be an avatar.
You're so aging yourself by saying the Gen Zs, by the way.
Me?
But I
No.
mean, come on.
No, Dixon said the Gen
Oh.
Zs. But
Well, it was
it's
Cameron was saying that. Cameron was like, get the Gen Zs in.
But even that haircut
um,
is done too. Like the movie's already aged itself because of the stupid style haircut.
I would say all the Reef people are kind of like they're not characters. They kind of just move the story forward. They're not nothing, but they just don't have a lot to do. Probably because there's so much other stories, so many other things to focus on. I feel like Payakan has more of a character
I
and
mean,
more
we
to
have
do.
to remember more so than a storyline. This movie is like a visualization of like where modern technology is at its peak. And like that's what James Cameron has been doing these last like decade and a half. So like when you see Avatar, everyone was shitting on how it was exactly Pocahontas. It is. The storyline is not compelling. So these reef people, I don't want to say an offensive term, reef people, um the purpose of them was to take us through the water and to see the incredible like special effects that Cameron was able to do with that.
They're more plot than character.
Their plot, yeah.
All right, so next we have Cliff Curtis, who plays Tonawari, who is Kate Winslet's husband's character. He was actually in another Avatar movie, Avatar: The Last Airbender, in 2010. So it's kind of funny that he crossed over. He's done both avatars. So he's the chief of the Metecain clan. He's very diplomatic. He's pragmatic, and he's the kind of calm overweight to Ronal's intensity and her, the way she interacts with the Sullys. He kind of like balances her out in that way. And he allows them to stay when they first come and are looking for kind of like sanctuary. But it is very strict terms. You can't bring attention to themselves. You can't disrupt their way of life. And they have to learn how the Reef people live and how to interact with them. Yeah, I thought he was a pretty good character overall.
I don't dislike him. I just same thing as all the others, pretty much.
So next we have General Francis Ardmore, who's played by Edie Falco. Gabe, do you want to say anything about Edie
No,
Falco?
I mean, I think we went through enough. Edie Falco. I think we eated it.
Yeah. Everything I was going to say
did
is
we
like,
talk about the coffee yet?
Yeah, I think we hit her.
all right. So yeah, she plays General Francis Ardmore. She's kind of the new human commander of the RDAs and their Pandora operations to basically colonize Pandora and make it habitable for human beings. So I think that's basically why she's there. I have a bunch of stuff on like the other avatars, but I don't think we need to talk about them. Like the other like military avatars. Lyle, get some.
I think it's just funny they brought him back. I added him in there. Just to get him a shout out.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's. Do we want to talk about the marine biologist guy?
Only I'll just say one thing about Jermaine Clement. For me, it's distracting for that he's in there because he's a face for me. That our Avatar is mostly filled. Not everyone, mostly are not big names or smaller character actors. I feel like he kind of crosses over that. So like, I'm like he's in here for a reason. Like it's like so obvious that he's like going to play a bigger part in the next one because he's a face, and you wouldn't just throw him in here for like 5 minutes of exposition. And then as part of him, I do love the whale guy.
Yeah, he's
Captain
so
Mick
good.
Scoresby. I think that's
Yeah.
such a good character.
He really
And
is.
the arm getting chewed off and all that, but like he just like chews scenery. He's so good. And they explains the Emerita thing. Like that's an expo dump, but like it doesn't really feel like it too much. And I love that, like all the whale, like that whole like whale crew is great.
And it's also like the two of them are kind of the same way how Kate Winslet and Chris Curtis are like balance. They're like balance beams to each other.
Yeah.
The two of them are also like, you know, Scoresby's like this hardcore, all I want to do is hunt and make my quotas. And, you know, the Jamie Garvin, his character is kind of like, no, these are, you know, intelligent creatures. They're smarter than us. They need to be respected. We need to like understand like how they live and more about them. So it's a good balance between the two of them to, you know, even out the different perceptions about the Tulkun and like the actions that everybody takes in those scenes with them. Anything else?
No.
All right. We'll scroll down a little bit. All right, so we'll do the box office stuff now. All right, so we didn't really talk about the release and box office for the Avatar movie, so we want to talk about it here. So Avatar came out in 2009, and it built up. It was, you know, a phenomenon when it came out, but it just got bigger and bigger the longer that it stayed out. So it stayed at top of the worldwide box office for weeks, and ended up becoming, as we talked about, the highest grossing film of all time. It grossed about $2.92 billion worldwide, which is absolutely insane.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But there was two releases, right?
Yeah, so they did do a re-release where, you know, it grossed a little more money, but that was only post Endgame when Endgame beat it. And then they did like re-releases in China and other places, and Avatar came right back up. But it was at the top, and like those re-releases weren't that much. It only like pushed it over, you know, a minuscule amount. But it's been up there since 2009, still up there. And like the order is literally it's Avatar, Endgame, and then Way of Water. It's so absurd. And then Titanic.
Disney and Cameron.
These
Which are not the
movies
same.
rake it in internationally. Like I don't know another movie that does this well internationally.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's like 70-30.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
So then we flash forward to
Is
2022.
it China? Is China like the biggest market with Avatar?
I think it was, but now it's not as big for Fire and Ash, but it was at the time.
Huh.
Yeah,
So then we flash forward to 2022 with Way of the Water. This movie made around $2.33 billion, and it made that in a post-COVID box office, which in itself is insanely impressive.
Yeah.
Had a very similar run in terms of like global legs and staying power, and it was obviously the highest grossing movie of 2022. The first Avatar held the #1 spot for 7 straight weekends in the box office, which at the time was also incredible. And this movie, Way of the Water, was the first and only film to match that streak since the original Avatar. So obviously Cameron knows what he's doing.
Insane.
All right. So we've talked enough about production history and Way of the Water and partially Fire and Ash. So let's jump into the movie and talk about the story itself. So, film opens years after the events of the first Avatar. Jake is doing his narration like he did in the first movie, and he's talking about his life as a fully integrated Na'vi. He's leading the Ometakain people. He's got 4 kids. Him and Neteyam, he keeps talking about his like quote that he keeps telling the kids, Sully, stick together. So that's kind of the thing that's going to, again, drive his actions and all the decisions that he makes. We see the family doing a lot of stuff together. They see them hunting, we see them flying, training for combat, and it's not really, they're not rebelling, but they're just preparing for the inevitability of the humans returning, which eventually they do. So like we said, the RDA comes to Pandora again. They're not looking on getting or mining unobtainium anymore. They're just looking to colonize Pandora because Earth is dying. And so they're looking to create a place where humans can now call home. So, they're starting to build human cities, they're developing areas, and they want to obviously take out Jake, and that's why Quaritch is brought back in. His, motivation is the same in the first movie. It's get rid of Jake because he's going to obviously be some sort of impediment to getting them fully established on Pandora for humans. Yeah, so Quaritch and his new recombatant squad of avatars, they go to Pandora. They return to the exact site where him and Jake fought, and Quaritch's human form was killed. And he sees how that happened. He watches a video of it. And while this is going on, Jake leads guerrilla attacks against the RDA supply lines, like while they're starting to build out their infrastructure. And
Which is such a good scene, by the way. That train battle
amazing.
is epic.
So while Quaritch is trying to figure out where Jake is and learn more about what happened to his human body, the kids and Spider happen to be in the same location. Spider's captured, and he's taken back with Quaritch, and they're trying to get information on Jake. So Jake decides, he's like, this kid knows exactly what's going on. He knows where we are. We got to get out of here to protect us, protect the Sullys, and protect all of the Ometakine people, because he knows that Quaritch is going to hunt them relentlessly without, stopping until he finds them. More questions. Okay. So then Jake leads his family away from the forest, which is very difficult for Neteyam. She kind of has a hard time leaving the people, because the last thing her father said to her before he passed away was, take this bow, take this staff, and lead the people. That's the last thing he said. So she feels very strongly that we shouldn't be doing this. We should be protecting the people at all costs. And Jake kind of makes the point that by doing this, we are. By leaving them away, taking Quaritch away from finding them, this is the best thing for us and the best thing for the Ometakine people. So then they go to the Reef people, and they have to basically learn the culture. And they're all kind of struggling with it, Even Jake Sully, like he's like, there's that scene where they are in the water and he's about to hop on the water flying creature, whatever. I forget what it was called.
Yeah, it was like a sawfish or something.
Yeah. So he's basically just like, yeah, I got this. And he hops on and he immediately gets knocked off. So like even he's having a hard time adapting. The children obviously were going to have a tough time, but he is too. And they all kind of go through different experiences. So like the oldest brother, he's working pretty hard to fit in, but he's also working to protect the family and make sure that everybody else is, in a good place. Loak is obviously getting into trouble with every decision that he makes. Kiri, she's kind of, on her own, I feel like the whole time. She's just kind of in the water, interacting with the creatures, having those spiritual interactions that we don't really understand. But so she's kind of doing her own thing. And eventually the children of Rowan and Chris Curtis's character, they take the kids to their submerged spiritual tree, basically like the underwater equivalent to what we saw in the first Avatar movie. And Kiri connects directly with Awa, but then during that she has a seizure and almost dies. So then Max and Norm come and they do all these tests on her, and then you see it kind of from a medical vision, like you see like what they see from a medical perspective, and then you see Rowan come in and do her spiritual work and try to get the demons out of her, basically. And she, who knows whether or not that had any impact on bringing her back to life, but you kind of got both sides of the spiritual and the technological perspective from that situation. Do you feel that the scene when they first get to the Reef People's clan and they start working with them and understanding their culture, do you think that slows down the movie too much? Do you think it's kind of like a little bit of a pause in the movie from the big action that we were kind of expecting from an Avatar movie?
Honestly, it was what I was waiting for. It's like why I went to see the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I like all that. I think if anything, like the whale watching slows it down. Like not even like the scenes where they're like talking with Payakan, just like there's a long section where Loak's out there and like not a lot's happening. Like that is like Cameron like final cut, but like I think I think that's all fun. It doesn't, like when people say Avatar is repetitive, like that's not the repetition that I mind, if that makes sense. Like that's more mirroring the first one a little bit, and it's kind of like what you expect. The same way like they have like the beauty scenes, like in the first one that's like all the night beauty shots. And in this one it's like the water shots. And like I said, like some of that gets a little bit too overindulgent, but I think the training stuff is fun, and they mirror it first, like in the first movie, and they also mirror it to Quaritch. Quaritch is training and Jake is training. I like that. I think that's all good. I would say just you talked about Kiri a little bit, and we kind of went over it a little bit before, but like Sigourney Weaver playing a 14-year-old doesn't bother me at all. I don't notice it at all. It should be weird, but maybe it's not weird. But yeah, it works for me. I don't know. It's easy.
I think that's Cameron just kind of having fun with his friend because they go way back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like not
and
done with it. Not done with her.
Yeah,
I
it
saw
doesn't
an,
bother me either. Maybe she does such a great job with it that we really don't even notice it.
well, I saw an interview with Sigourney Weaver, and she was saying that at first she was a little hesitant to play a younger version of herself, but then as she started really diving into the role, she was kind of like, "Oh, I get to be myself and like be a 14-year-old version of myself." So she got to have fun with it and like relive kind of that part of her life that in a movie that she never thought she was going to be able to do. So she was definitely a little hesitant at first, and then it felt very natural to her to do it. But I agree. I think maybe the idea of it at first sounded a little weird, but seeing the performance that she brought to the character, it was definitely not, didn't take me out of it knowing that it was her in that character. All right. So yeah. So during this whole time with Jake and the Sullys kind of learning the way of the Neteyam people, Quaritch is also, like you said, he's going on the same kind of journey that Jake is of learning the Na'vi and understanding their ways. But he also starts raiding some of the villages once they find out that they're near a area of islands in the water. So he starts going through these villages. They're burning structures. They're killing some of the animals, and using whatever they can to try and find Jake. And eventually they try and they're basically like, okay, we have to figure out a way to pull him out. Like there's no way that we're going to be able to hunt him down because all these people are going to protect him, or they just don't know where he is. So they're like, let's figure out how we can kind of cast a bait to pull him out from wherever he is. And that kind of plays into Loak's character and like his decisions. Like he's just getting into trouble all the time, and he's kind of the reason why the Tulkun are being hunted, and why eventually like he goes out to try and save Payakan, who's his friend who saved his life. He goes out to try and save him, and that's the reason why the kids are captured. Do you think that he's kind of the protagonist of the movie because of all the decisions that he makes and like how they affect what eventually happens towards the end of the movie?
I think maybe he like is set up to be like maybe the protagonist later. It's hard because we are saying that I can tell Loak and Neteyam apart. So like there's some kind of failure there on the movie's part, because I feel like you should on the first round tell these characters apart. But I think like when you watch Ash, it becomes a little more clear who Loak is and his character. So yeah, I think he's being teed up. I mean, all the kids are. It's kind of like a question of the movie. Like if you like this movie, then I guess you enjoy the fact that the kids take more of the focus. But like especially the next one, it becomes a lot more of Kiri, Loak, and Spider's story. You have Kiri with the whole Awa question, Spider with becoming this human Navi centric thing, and then like Loak grappling with like his brother's death and like the responsibility of all that, kind of tied between like his dad and I guess like Pandora. So it's yeah, I guess I didn't answer your question. I made it more questions. I Avatar 2'd you, but yeah, I don't know.
What's the question? Is he set up to be protagonist?
Yeah, does he feel like the protagonist because
Yeah.
of all the things that he does in the movie?
Yeah. All the whale shit and everything.
What about it?
I mean, he's kind of off on his own. He's like isolated from the rest of the crew, and he's developing a friendship with one of the whales. What are the whales called again?
Tulkun.
Yeah. All that.
Payakan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically Payakan is he's being hunted, and he goes out to help him. Loak goes out to help Payakan, and the hunting ship basically finds them, captures all the kids, and this is what brings out Jake and all of the reef people to go and basically launch into this final battle of the movie. So
Which
Quaritch
is so
has
much
the
quicker
kids.
on the second watch, on the rewatch.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it is.
I don't
Yeah.
know why. I was like that battle was like an hour and a half, and then rewatching it, I'm like, this is not that bad.
And that is something I think also comes up in Fire and Ash. Like that felt very quick, and this final battle had that same sort of, the cadence was just, it just kept moving, and you're just like
It's so well
going through so
choreographed.
very well choreographed. Yeah.
I was actually, one of the notes I made was, how the fuck do you write some of these battle scenes? Like, and then he hits him in the face, jumps over the railing, and then fights these six. Like, who comes up with the choreography?
And
It's insane.
And that's the thing, like that's the difference in what they do on the Avatar movies. It's all planned out versus like some like Marvel where the CGI doesn't look as good. They're not changing the shots. Like this is like it's set. Like all
Yeah.
this is already figured out when they're like
Yeah.
making it. So it's so
You're saying for like Marvel movies, it's like, okay, now there's a fight scene.
and they'll
we'll
like
figure it
change
out in
it. They're like,
post.
they're like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Like now Vision's in this shot. You know, like he's fighting someone else now. We
Yeah.
don't even know who you're fighting right now.
Yeah.
And you know, like sometimes they do a really good job when they want to or when they can.
They
I guess.
used to.
Yeah. But like you look like Quantum Mania and it's a shit show. But
Yeah.
like that would never happen on an Avatar movie. And like, yeah, like there's so many shots of arrows going into all these like it's the choreography in the final battle's insane. And you know, it's really like a two-parter. It's like the whole daytime stuff, and then it's like all this stuff on the boat.
Yeah.
It's
While it's sinking.
yeah, it's crazy. And he just indulges into his Titanic, like he just wants to do it again.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like,
Can't
"Fuck
help
it, let's
himself.
re-rack it, do it again."
I could see like the producers being like, so James, yeah, I heard you want to make a second Avatar. Do I have to ask? What's the setting gonna
We're
be,
going
James?
deep.
Jim?
We're going deep.
Well, I thought you'd never ask. It also probably feels so long, these battles, when we're seeing the movie theater, because it's like they start at like the 2 hour and 45 minute marker.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
we're like, we don't know when this thing's gonna fucking end at this point. Like I don't know about you guys, but these movies are exhausting. They're fun. They're a lot
so
of
much
fun.
happens.
So much
happens.
happens. But they're exhausting. And by the time that final battle shows up, I'm like, this can take 20 minutes. This can take an hour and a half.
Like literally an hour.
And more likely not, it's gonna take an hour and a half. And it's like I gotta buckle in. And there's just so much like graphics and like incredible shots and choreography and fight scenes and emotion. And by the time the movie's over, you're like, I gotta go to bed, man.
It's tiring. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
After previews, getting home, it's like like literally like a 5-hour affair.
It's like it's like flying to LA.
Yeah.
It's like a whole flight.
I honestly, after towards the end of Fire and Ash, I remember being like, I'm a little tired, but the thing that was really bothering me was the glasses, the 3D glasses. They were like starting to like dig into my nose. I'm like, that was the one thing I felt
it's
exhausted.
physically exhausting.
Yeah. You got to prepare for.
You got to earn
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So basically, the overview of the fight scene is the kids are taken captured by Quaritch. Jake is going to give himself up, but then Payakan basically attacks the ship. He throws himself off the ship, and that instigates.
Which is so cool.
Amazing shot.
Yeah.
Him just jumping on and like blocking missiles and bullets and taking people out. Unbelievable shot. So Quaritch has the kids. They basically go out. Loak and Neteyam get onto the ship. They free some of the kids. Neteyam's actually shot, and they bring him back to like a little island near the tanker where the battle's going on, and he dies. And Quaritch is like,
It was like a reef.
Yeah, it was like a little reef. And then as he dies, Quaritch is talking to Jake. He's like, I still got 2 more of your kids. Like, you don't want any more to die. And that's when the eclipse finally happens and it goes dark. The scene with Jake talking to Neytiri and basically like, I need you to come help me. And Neytiri like stands up and there's a ship that's on fire right next to them. And the way it was shot, she looks so evil in that scene. Like, she basically is just kind of like, I don't care anymore. I'm going to kill every single person that stands in my way from getting my
She
kids.
mowed down like 35 people.
So many people. Like, she just went all out after that scene. But I remember just like her when she initially is like, she's like looking at Jay. She's like, okay, let's do this. And then she like turns and there's just the light from the fire hitting her face, and then it's dark on the other side. I'm like, oh, she's gonna pull some stuff. I was a little concerned that she was gonna do something that was gonna be, irreversible, like something so bad in that scene. But again, amazing sequence when they get back on the boat and they're fighting they're fighting humans, they're fighting some of the recumbent avatars. Um, and then they get to a scene where Quaritch has Kiri, and he's basically like to Jake, you got to, put your weapons down, let go. And then the Tiri sees Spider and grabs him and kind of holds him hostage. And that's when I was saying I felt that she was actually going to kill him. I thought that they were like, okay, let's do this. Let's make this scene happen. Did you think that she was actually going to do it? Did you think that she was going to kill him?
Not in this movie.
I thought she could. I thought she could. I think Avatar's good with the plot armor. I think anyone really could die. Maybe because they're not like, it doesn't feel like it's that kind of like world. So I thought she could have. They do a good job of building up Natiri's prejudice, because even in the first one, she kind of is prejudiced against the Sky people, rightfully so. But then, like in this one, like it's more like bad prejudice. Like she's kind of just like hates Spider for no reason, even though he's clearly good. And even in this movie, like he redeems himself even when he gets close to like turning or like doesn't turn, but like kind of considers it. You could tell he's kind of torn. But yeah, they do a good job of Natiri's like darkness and like downfall. Or not downfall, but yeah, like how he just like goes deep.
I wanted to leave a little bit of a pause there because I want to talk about this, but we could also talk about it in Fire and Ash if you think it's more relevant there. I think Spider is the most morally correct or morally positive character out of everybody in the movie. All he's trying to do it, like in that scene when Neytiri has him like held hostage and she's gonna kill them, all he's saying is to Quaritch, don't hurt Kiri, like let her go. Like all he's thinking, he doesn't care about himself. He's thinking about her. He's like, just make sure she's okay. And then in Fire and Ash, when Jake, again, both of his parents at different points debate killing him and almost go through with killing him. At that scene, he's kind of like, when Jake's about to kill him, he's kind of like, all right, I understand. This is what you need to do. Like, I think he's the best I think he's the most morally correct, or I don't know how to phrase it, but I think he's the most positive character. Like his moral compass is the most directly faced. And like his every decision that he makes and everything that he says is the correct thing to do in that situation, more so than any other character in the series so far.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
He's a good kid.
He's a good kid. He's a very good kid.
Good kid.
Despite being, Quaritch's son.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know if we should leave that in here or save that for.
We can go more into the next movie. I think that's a good thought.
And he saves Quaritch at the end of this one too, when he's drowning in the water. Like he sees him and he's like, I could have very easily left him. Could have been like, that's it. And he saves his life.
And I thought that was going to be a bigger deal, but it wasn't that he saved him. Like I thought like that was still going to be, I thought he essentially was going to turn. Like maybe like the next one he was going to be like a spy, but he's not. Like he just, like you're saying, like he's just morally sound. He has good morals.
I kind of thought it was going to be more of an issue than he was going to, not so much that he was going to turn. Him? Yeah, that it was going to come back that like the heel at some point was going to say it to, Neytiri and be like, oh, I actually, had a chance to let him die, but I didn't. And maybe that'll come back up in another movie. Like maybe something, somebody will have an opportunity to kill him and he'll be like, I could have done it too, but I didn't because it was the right thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
Quaritch is heading that way. He's becoming more moral.
Which is interesting because then it's like, who's going to be the villain or like the person that's really the antagonist going forward?
I think we know. All right, save it.
All right. All right. So yeah, so then there's this big fight scene between Jake and Quaritch. They go at it. They end up in the water. Again, we see the scene with Kiri where she's able to kind of manipulate the animals in a spiritual way that we, again, don't really fully understand, but she's just able to kind of subconsciously do it. It's just built within her. So she saves everybody and they're all able to get out and they become part of the Neteyam people. They have a funeral for Neteyam, who passes away, so he is actually living with the ancestors of the Neteyam people. So the Sullys fully become one of them. And at the very end, they go back to the submerged spirit tree, and Jake is able to go and visit with Neteyam and spend time with him. And so you finally, because we didn't see it in Avatar, you get to see them actually interacting with the spirits of the people that have passed on. Because they talked about it a little bit, but we never actually got to see it. And it'll come up again later on in Fire and Ash, but it's just interesting to kind of see that it is actually a real connection between those people and they live forever with Awa, which I thought was really, really cool to actually, visually see that.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's the movie. That is Avatar: The Way of
And
Water.
that's the way of water.
All right, so now we've obviously seen Fire and Ash. If you take out Fire and Ash between Avatar and then Avatar: Way of Water, which movie do you guys like better?
Way of water. I just like the water shit.
I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I've seen Avatar so many times. It's almost a little more rote to me.
Mm.
Way of Water, I'm not as familiar with, but I feel like Avatar 1 maybe is a little more rewatchable than Avatar 2. So I'll say Avatar, the original, which is a tighter movie, even though Avatar Way of Water is a much more creative and probably, um, yeah, like maybe a more of a movie, more of a film.
What do you guys think about the crab vehicles?
They're fine.
I fucking hate them.
Wait, what crab vehicles? What do you mean?
There's like a bunch of those at the end, the final battle. There's a bunch of those like the soldiers are in like these crab like exosuits.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they
yeah,
like
that's-
crawl around and then they'll like and then they'll like swim underwater.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they do like the sidewalk like a crab, like they're like, which is so ridiculous. They don't need to walk like that.
They don't have to walk on the side like an actual crab.
They can just walk straight.
Like the engineer's like, no, you
They're
gotta,
crabs.
they're crabs. Yeah,
Um,
walk on its side.
So how do you think that this movie, and now that there is multiples of them, how do you think that they stand up to other, space sci-fi movies? Like, I don't want to say we keep comparing it to like Star Wars or like, but something in that wheelhouse. Like, do you think it fits within those type of like epic space sci-fi saga type movies? Like, do you think it's still in, or it is in that category?
From like a film perspective, yes, especially more so Star Wars because of the different biomes. But I feel like in terms of like marketing, it's like, do they even sell like Avatar toys and lunch boxes, like all that shit?
I feel like they don't.
They don't, right?
That's a really good point.
I don't think it's like.
I don't think they're capitalizing on this as much as they should be.
I think there's just a section at Disney, and that's like really the only way it has like.
They have a video game, right?
There
Now
is a
they
game.
do.
I don't know who plays it, but there is a game.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not diving in this more.
I mean, this is kind of like in general, like the cultural like problem of Avatar, right, that everyone talks about. But like people see the movies, but then don't care that much. I guess I don't know. I mean, it's more about just being the experience. Like the biggest way to see Avatar, the best way to see Avatar is just to see the movie. Go to the
Yeah.
movies. And beyond that, there's just not that much for people. That's the same as like people that aren't seeing Fire and Ash. Like I don't know anyone that's saying like, oh, I'll just see it on Disney Plus. Like no one's actually said that anecdote to me. I'm sure that someone's thinking it, but it's not doesn't compare than like seeing something else on like Disney when it comes out.
Agreed. It also got a Best Picture nomination.
Way of Water?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
By that reaction, Eric, do you think that was deserved?
Well, I like it better than Avatar.
Which also got a Best Picture nom.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
But and I think Avatar got it. Oh no, that might have been like one of the first years with 10. But Way of Water lost. Well, I don't think anyone think it was going to win, but Everything Everywhere All at Once won that year. So I don't think it was really in the conversation that way. But it did get nominated, which is
It's
crazy.
just funny to me that like the direction like the Academy is going, like Conclave is nominated. So is Way of Water.
Yeah,
I think they're different years, but they're just vastly different movies.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the list from that year, there's probably a couple on there that are like Oscar bait movies.
I'm looking at it right now. Everywhere All at Once, All Quiet on the Western Front, Way of Water.
Which those three right off the bat actually seem like they're all very comparable.
Yeah.
Banshees of Inisherin.
No, that's different.
Oscar bait.
Elvis movie.
Oh, I hated that one.
The Fablemans.
I like Fablemans.
Tar. Top Gun Maverick.
A Todd Field reference.
Dude, this is like the least Oscar-y list I think I've ever heard.
This was a good year. But
They were all blockbusters except for Banshees and Tar.
Well, there's a few more. So there's Top Gun,
Oh.
Tar,
Top
Top
Gun.
Gun, Blockbuster, yeah.
Yeah.
Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking.
Which one was
I don't-
Triangle of Sadness?
I have
Women
no
Talking,
idea.
I remember.
I don't remember Triangle of Sadness either.
But I'm so used to like Women Talking, Triangle of Sadness, Tar, Banshees. I'm used to those dominating the Oscars every year. This year's all fucking. You know what? I bet you COVID had something to do with this.
It was. I mean, yeah. It was.
There wasn't a lot of movies, and these are big names. This is James Cameron. This is Tom Cruise. They
Yeah,
like
this was the first year movies came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was when movies came back.
The only name I recognize from Triangle of Sadness is Woody Harrelson as the captain.
I don't
That's
know,
the only
maybe-
person
I
that's
usually see all the best
sticking
picture
out.
nods. Maybe I skipped that one.
Yeah, I don't remember it. Oh, it was the model one.
No
I
idea.
started it, I didn't finish it. It's a story about a fashion model, and he's basically like he gets into the industry and he's trying to like navigate it. Basically, my general understanding of the movie. But. All right, final thoughts. Anything else you guys want to talk about as far as Avatar: Way of the Water?
I mean, they're bigger than movies. I mentioned this before, but he's making advancements in marine biology and filmmaking, and he's inventing fucking technology. And I think he's probably one of the most important filmmakers of all time.
Yeah, an incredible film. I mean, say what you want about the Avatar movies, they get a lot of shit, but like Eric just said, technologically just like unbelievable, and they do stand alone. I mean, just the box office numbers, they're 1 and 3 with Endgame sandwiched right in the middle, which is really like its own thing in some ways. It's a coalescence of like 30 movies. So
That's a good point.
yeah, it's
That's a really good point.
it's
not
its
just
own
Endgame.
thing. Yeah, right.
It's like it's the first fucking 10 years of Marvel. That's what that movie represents.
Right, exactly, right. So like it was an event. Avatar 1 at the time like became an event, but like Endgame preceded, had to build to an event. So like Cameron to make that without all that
And
history
that
and
takes
IP,
away from Endgame.
it does. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's like a little bit of a cheat. I mean, me and Dixon talked about this last time about highest grossing actors and actresses, saying that who is it now? It's
Zoe Saldana.
She's now number one.
she's number
and
one,
it
and we were
was
saying,
Scarlett Johansson,
and it was
for a while.
ScarJo before that. And I was like, well, both of them are just really getting a boost from Marvel and Avatar. And then we made a joke that Joel David Moore, the dodgeball guy, is probably somewhere in this list because he's in Avatar movies alone. He's probably like between Ash and the other two, he's probably higher than some other people. So like they're just
Isn't Sam
inflated.
Jackson on there too?
He's up there.
They all are. I mean, any Marvel actor is going to be on there. If you're in the Avengers movies, you're one of the
then
highest
you're
grossing actors.
Yeah.
So like they're all on there. But like ultimately, Avatar is its own thing. So again, knock it as much as you want, but everyone saw it, and everyone kind of came back and saw Way of the Water also. So everyone knows about it, even if you don't. It doesn't stick with you. We don't know who Neteyam and Lowak are.
Yeah.
They still created a language with hundreds of words and put it out there for us. So if you really watch, it's there. There are Avatar heads.
Yeah. I feel like nobody talks about this, and I feel like I'm definitely a minority here, but I think Sam Worthington does an exceptional job. I think he's very believable. I like that his character is sort of a hard-ass dad who doesn't always make the right decision.
He's better in this. He's even better in this.
He's good. He's a
Yeah.
very believable like actor. Like, and nobody talks about. I don't even know if he fucking is in anything else, and I kind of feel bad for him because I do like him in everything he's in, Sam Worthington. And by
Clash of
everything,
Titans.
Avatar 1, 2, and
Clash of
3.
Titans.
Is he in
I-
anything else? He was supposed to be the it guy.
Clash of Titans. I remember that came out
I
in
saw
2010.
that. That was in 3D. That was in 3D.
No, but so they got us. Because remember after Avatar, they were like, yeah, you want to see it in 3D or 2D? It's up to you. And it was like, not really 3D.
It's
just
the bullshit one.
It's the bullshit one. And I remember when that came out and the trailer for it with the Kraken and everything and Sam Worthington. And I have such bad judgment for movies. I'm so bad at being like, that movie's going to be a hit. Like, I'll be like, oh, Clash of the Titans is going to get smashed.
I feel like you saw it like Putnick. Oh, you saw your
I
dad.
saw it with my dad, and it was just like, oh god, this is awful 3D, and I mean it was a cool movie, but it's just it doesn't stand the test of time. But Gabe, I did the same thing with Thor, because remember we saw Far From Home together.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, their movies are great. And then Thor: Love and Thunder comes out. And I'm like, oh, I gotta get tickets because this is gonna be like another smash hit.
We saw that with Brie and Lauren, right?
Yes. And half of the movie, like I think we turned each other. I'm like, this movie sucks. I was like, this movie's fucking bad. It's bad. And the movie theater, same time, same crowd as Far From Home.
When me and Eric and I saw Far From Home, there were literally guys in Spider-Man suits doing backflips, like in the front of the theater.
Dude,
it was raucous.
I've never been to a movie like that. And I thought, like,
crazy.
oh, from now on, Marvel movies are going to be...
Or No Way Home. We're saying Far From Home, No Way Home, No Way Home.
It's No Way Home.
When we saw No Way Home, it was fucking raucous. Raucous. And then
people
Thor,
were like...
it was the theater, it felt like Force Awakens. It was like cold in there. You know, it was
crickets.
It's like, who is anyone in here with us? Like, are we alone?
And you looked around.
You walked out confused. You're like, what?
You would look around, and every seat was taken with just faces of silence.
And there's like the goats, like,
yeah. So I'm not good at picking movies.
I was gonna say, you were talking about Sam Worthington, his performance. I think that's just such a a point back to the technology and the performance capture. Like, he's such a good actor and put on such a good performance. If the technology wasn't there to really show everything that he was putting out and what they were capturing, you wouldn't know that it's that good of a, like it just goes to show you how well the technology really pulled in all the details of his performance. It really shows how good of an actor he is. Because I agree. Yeah. I think that his character is just so interesting and so well done, and it's obviously part of his performance, but part of the way that it's displayed on his Navi character. So I think he's phenomenal. I think he's great for the role too.
He gets better in this. He really does. Like, we didn't really talk about his arc, but like his character and Sam Worthington are better fitted as like a dad. In the first one, he like plays classic Marine, and we got into this last one. I was like, he's good as that, like kind of just like the straight face, like neutral character, but he's better as like the hard ass dad. It's a really good natural progression of the character.
He's like, wipe that shit off your face.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, he's a believable, pissed off, concerned father. Marine, yeah.
Like former Marine,
military
like,
dad.
asshole, like dad. Like,
yeah, who knows he's being hunted and his family is being hunted. So like no mistakes allowed. It's good. Normally I think a more cliche dad would have been a lot nicer. And he's like, he doesn't take any shit. It's cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Movie Marathon Podcast. Be sure to tune in for our next episode when we dive into Avatar: Fire and Ash. Till next time, boys. Peace.
Peace.